Hello, welcome back to Topic Tuesday with Alan Dembski and Juliana Jansen from Buffalo First Wealth Management. One of the topics that we're going to bring up today is what is one piece of advice? I keep doing that. One piece of advice that you would give somebody, financial advice that you would give somebody after life lessons, working in this industry. What is one piece of advice? We were kind of talking about this before we jumped on the air here and discussed this a little bit. It took me a second to figure out what I would tell somebody, but after a quick minute, I think the area that I would start, and then we'll turn it over to you for your comments and your piece of advice. But one piece of advice I would give people is living within your means. I think social media, just the things that people spend their money on nowadays, the old adage, keeping up with the Joneses, I think is one thing that I would caution. There's a lot of times where money comes into our life, whether it's inheritance, a new job, a different job, whatever that might be, where people feel like they never had it before. So now it's okay to spend it. Well, my neighbor did this or this person. Now we might not do that consciously, but I think somewhere in the subconscious, I think that comes out. And it might not be exactly the same as what other people are doing. And I don't think people do it intentionally. I think it's just the environment and the times that we live in. I'm sure it may have happened previously, but they always bring up the McMansions for one, where all these neighborhoods look the same, and people just want to buy the houses just to be in those neighborhoods. But there's a way to be successful, no matter, to me, doesn't matter how much money you have. And it's really being aware of your means, whatever that might be. And it's different for everybody. There's multimillionaires that are going bankrupt all the time because they don't live within their means. Yes, they have a lot of money. But one thing I've always mentioned this at seminars and different things that I present at, when the NBA was going through a strike a number of years back, 15 years ago or so, Patrick Ewing from the New York Knicks, if people are watching this are younger, but he played for New York Knicks. He was the NBA Players Association rep. He said, "We make a lot of money, but we spend a lot of money." And that kind of really hit home when it comes to living within your means. So that was my one piece of advice. I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we can start a little dialogue on this and go back and forth.
I definitely agree. And I think, the clients that come in to see us that are the most content, I feel, are the ones that really have a handle on their spending, and they are spending within their means, no matter those means are. They can make a lot of money, they can make not so much money, but the ones that really have a handle on what's going out and keep it beneath keep it beneath what is coming in. Those are the ones that come in with less anxiety and can move into the next phase of their life, whether it's retirement or whether it's taking on a different job, more comfortably, because they, number one, have a handle on what they're spending, and they're not in that trap of what you were talking about where it's trying to keep up with the Joneses. I think my one piece of advice, and it sort of camps on yours, is to automate your savings and make it like a bill. So, people might come to us and say, well, how do I live within my means? This is one way that you can live within your means. You basically start, and, we tell clients, just start. Start, depend if somebody is just starting out, they might be putting $50 or $100 a month aside. If their incomes are bigger, then they might put more aside. But once you start automating it and treating it like it's a bill, then you're building toward a future. And I think that because, to your point, there are a lot of temptations out there, social media, movies, TV. There's always something pretty cool and zoomy that you could purchase, or a place that you could go. But if you label that fund alongside your goals, it makes saving easier. So you're putting that money aside. And then when you're looking at your account and your account is growing, it's not just numbers on a page, it's actually tied to that goal that you're saving for. Whether it's, I really, it's one of my goals to help my kids with their college funds. It's one of my goals to take a big trip. How much cooler is it to take the trip and know that you're not going to go into debt for it? You've got that money
Right.
set aside.
Yeah, it's kind of go off what you said. We had a conversation earlier today. We were talking about a client situation, and it's a really great situation that they're in. But after talking about it, how do they live on that? Well, and they're happy as anything, and they're doing what they want to do, and money is actually not an object, but they don't spend a lot. They're not frugal, but they don't spend a lot, and what they have coming in certainly covers that lifestyle. And still, but they were savers when they were working, right? They're retired, but they were big savers. They were, to your point, is that they were saving. It was a forced savings. They wanted to make sure that the spot that they're in now, that they could do that. And they certainly achieved that goal by saving and doing the little things throughout life and not going overboard and jeopardizing that savings part. So I think it
Yeah.
goes hand in hand, right?
Yep. And, anybody that's contributing to a 401k, anyone that's contributing to a 403b, any kind of retirement account, you are basically setting up automated savings. I would take it the next step further. It's great that you're doing it for your retirement, but set it up for your non-retirement goals too, whatever they may be.
Mhm.
And you're building towards your future in a kind of painless way, because if you're setting it up according to what your income is, then it's something that's manageable and you can um, adjust it as your income goes up. So if you start out at 100 and you find that you've got more left over, then bump it up to 150 or 200 or whatever you can comfortably do, and that money is yours to spend according to the goals that you set.
Right. And what's interesting about that whole thing is recently I've some clients and friends have come to me that their kids want to start saving now. They don't have really much money, but they want to put away $10 a month. Well, something is absolutely better than nothing. And as you get older and you make more money, if you build in that little savings plan for yourself when you're a little bit younger, it trains your mind to, I got to keep going. I got to keep putting more money in. And when you see a little growth, we've been fortunate in the last 2 years with the market the way it's been, and especially today, is once they see those little accounts growing, they get motivated by that and they get excited. Yes, there could be downtimes, and this is not a history on the stock market, but certainly it's just an opportunity for them to see the fruits of their labor.
I love that. I love to hear that young people are starting their savings journey early, because you're absolutely right. It starts the habit, and the amount is less important than starting.
Right, for sure. So a lot of people have, different goals and different things, but those are our two pieces of advice for today. After thinking about this for a while, and if you have any questions or comments, or if there's one piece of advice that's different than what Juliana and I mentioned, you can certainly leave a comment. And make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And we look forward to hearing from you. And again, these are just the opinions of us and not any individual recommendations. Thank you and have a great day.